Good morning to the audience, the viewers and listeners to the podcast. I've got Debra Erickson from Portland, Oregon, and she is executive chef and founder of the Blind Kitchen. We're going to hear all about her story, and she's a chef, and her passion is helping the blind. And we're going to hear all about her work that she does with those clients and what the work she's doing with the Blind Kitchen. I'm really happy to have her on and welcome her to the show. Just FYI, we're just for the viewers, we're audio only and just to respect Debra's preferences. Debra, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and briefly introduce yourself and how and I'm excited to dive into the questions.
Okay. I am the executive chef and founder of The Blind Kitchen, which is an online company that I started that supplies adaptive culinary tools and cooking strategies for people with vision loss who want to cook. And I started the business about 2.5 years ago. I am blind myself. I have retinitis pigmentosa and very little vision in one eye only, nothing really usable. And I was the only blind student in culinary school. So had to go through a lot of challenges, and that all ended up turning into this business that's called The Blind Kitchen.
Okay, interesting. And one thing I at the top of everybody's mind is do just be very blunt. How your ideas and your questions you have? How can blind people cook? So do they make better food? Like you have to rely on other senses and talk about the better abilities you have if with when you're missing some of your senses.
Yeah, no, it's an excellent question and a common one. My other senses have not increased, but I just rely on them more. It's like my hearing didn't get any better, or my smelling didn't get any better. I
Yeah.
just rely on it more because about 70% of the activity in your brain is related to visual information and processing it. And so that frees up a lot more of my brain since it's not relying on it for visual activity to be able to rely on the other senses. So I just have to learn to do people with vision loss, as with any loss or any disability, I just have to do things differently now.
Interesting. Yeah, and more people I talk to, they just say they have to adapt and do things differently. Next question I have for you is, how did you get the idea for the Blind Kitchen, and what is its mission and purpose?
Okay, I got the idea for the Blind Kitchen when COVID hit, actually. I had planned on teaching adults with vision loss here in Portland, Oregon for the rest of my life. I thought that's what I would be doing. And then I was sent home, paused, so to speak, in March of 2020. And I had a year and a half to gather up all the information because there were different nuggets all over the internet, in podcasts, in YouTube videos, in books, but no one had ever there was no one organized place for that people with vision loss could go to. And so once I pulled that all together, I thought, okay, let's give this a shot. How can I make this into a business? And that's how the Blind Kitchen came to be. The mission of it is just to so with the aging population, especially with the baby boomers, there are more and more people who are aging and who have vision loss due to macular degeneration, glaucoma. There's all kinds of different ways that older people can lose their vision. And for many of them, their identity was wrapped up in being the family cook for Thanksgiving or for Hanukkah or Christmas. They were the cooks. And now all of a sudden they can't cook anymore. They don't know how could how. I get a lot of emails saying thank you for having this resource because now I see that there are ways to get back into the kitchen. So that's the mission. And also a lot of young people, their parents, through very good and well intentions, don't let their blind child into the kitchen or their kid with vision loss. They don't want them to get cut or burnt. It's well intended and it's their job to keep their children safe. But people that teach people with vision loss how to cook and parents also are definitely accessing the site so that they can learn how they can teach their own children how to be in the kitchen safely and helping them towards independent lives.
Yeah. And I think a lot of the audience and listeners, they're wondering like, how do you organize your kitchen and pantry? How do you know which tool to use? Like, how do you know? Or I'm just curious how you can optimize your craft with the loss of sight?
Yeah, no, it's an excellent question. And there are almost 100 tools now, individual adaptive tools in the blind kitchen, some of them meant for blind people and a lot of them not. And so it's all about being thoughtful. I'm going to take longer. If I go to the grocery store or I have groceries delivered, and I know in that moment which can of soup is, let's say, cream of mushroom and which is cream of chicken. If I'm smart and thoughtful, I'm going to put a rubber band around one of those cans. And in this case, I'm going to choose cream of mushroom because mushroom has a R and chicken doesn't. So, so you just assign meaning, and there's bump dots and technology. AI is amazing right now,
Wow.
especially they have the smart glasses that use AI, and the camera is in the glasses and the microphone. And so I can just say, hey, Meta, look and tell me what's in this can, and they'll give me detailed information. And it works also with in my business, like with my orders. If I'm fulfilling an order, I'll say, hey, Meta, look and tell me what date this order was placed. And it can actually isolate the information and tell me just the date. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, interesting. And what's going to be really interesting is these different assistive devices and aids. Maybe there's new implants that will allow you, because we know we're hearing a lot of stuff that Elon is doing. What you mentioned AI, which is really interesting. How does AI help you? I know you touched upon it, but expand more upon that, how you use AI to get around and be productive.
Yeah, you've got to be careful with AI because sometimes they call it hallucinates and it's giving you the wrong information. It's a machine, so it's gonna sometimes have errors. So it can help me get around. I want to switch it over a little bit to visual interpretation services, which also work with AI. But the other thing these do, one is called Ira. And what I do is I have my smartphone and it's hooked up through my glasses. So I can call Ira. I get a human being on the other end who's binded and licensed. So my financial information is safe because of that. And they can look through my camera lens and give me the information I need. Yes. So, for
Wow.
example, I'm going to be flying to California on Thursday, and I'll be traveling alone. So
Wow.
I will have my glasses on and ready. And it's a little weird because people think I'm talking to myself, but I'm talking to my glasses and
Yeah.
to the person on my phone, and they can help guide me to get where I want to get to.
Wow.
It's
And
pretty cool.
how wow. And how yeah, wow. And how especially how do you see the future of the glasses and assistive devices? Paint a picture for me how you see it playing all out.
Yeah, so it's very I'm very excited about the future of it, to become more independent and to become faster at doing things. That's my biggest lament is I'm slower than I used to be at things because I did used to be able to see and now I can't. So that has slowed me down. But the meta glasses that I'm using now, they take a picture and then
Mm.
describe the picture. There's another one out there, I wanna say Google Pixels or something like that, which I haven't, but they can describe things in real time without taking pictures. So if somebody's walking towards me, they can say, "Hey, there's a person walking towards you," or "There's a tree 5 feet in front of you." If I'm not using my Canon and relying on the glasses, by the time the picture gets taken and it gets analyzed, I've probably hit the tree. So the AI in terms of being able to describe my environment and obstacles in real time or what I'm cooking. Is this brown yet? Is it pink in the middle? Right now, I use a talking thermometer to get the temperature of any meats that I'm cooking because meats like turkey, any poultry or chicken have to be cooked to 165 degrees to be safe for people to consume. And I don't want to make anyone sick. And so I can't see if it's still pink in the middle. I can't see if the juices are running clear, which are what many recipes call for. And I can't touch it. It's too hot. I just pull it out of the oven. But my talking thermometer can just go in there. And I've got strategies for making sure I'm in the thickest part of the meat and closest to the bone, which will be the last part to come to temperature. And it tells me in a loud, clear voice what that temperature is. It's really neat, the tools we have. I don't know what I would have done if I was blind 50 years ago.
Yeah, it's quite amazing what you can accomplish. The next question I have for you is when people come to you for the blind kitchen, what are they are they trying to, they want to work in the kitchen? Do they want to talk about how you serve the particular clientele?
So I do a lot of presentations and workshops, and one of them is the American Council of the Blind. And so people attend that virtually. It's a community call on their platform. And people ask questions just like in anything. How do you do this? How do you do that? How do you do this? And I don't have answers for everything, that's for sure. I can't devein a shrimp. There's just not enough tactile information, but maybe with AI, I should try it again. Who knows? But I can buy shrimp that's already deveined. There's usually an answer, but yeah, they ask any questions that you would ask of any if you ever watch cooking shows. A lot of the questions that people ask the chefs are the same questions I get asked.
Yeah. Yeah. The other question I have for you is I'm wondering, like, somebody listening to this, hopefully you inspired them. They may have a sensory deficiency and they want to be a top level chef. What is your advice on just being because chef it's an art, it's a craft, and so it's no different than like a performer or athlete. So how can they rise to the tops and actually distinguish themselves over some of the other chefs?
It's just like your business, and I know you've had more than one in the past. It is about you've just got to devote 100% to it. You can't come up halfway and expect to rise to the top. And being a chef is a lot of hard work. It is many hours, culinary school is. And then most chefs, if you're working when other people are out celebrating, like
Yes.
nights and weekends. So it
Yeah.
is absolutely just like with any business, you've really got to devote yourself to your goal, and then hopefully you'll be able to reach it. And usually there's only one person on the top of the mountain, but you have to set your goals to what do you want to be able to do? What would be good enough for you? And then go one step further and you'll find that you really excel.
Huh. Interesting. Yeah. Yeah, I've always been inspired by just especially with the arts, and you hear a lot of some of the best artists, they were not neurodivergent or they have some disability, but then
Mhm.
that's what makes them great because they either find a why or they find other ways to distinguish themselves. So if people were listening to this and they want to reach out to you, some help support you and in your endeavors or connect with you, how can they do that?
So you can visit the website. It's theblindkitchen.com, and it has audio described videos and stuff. So even the blindest person can access all of the information. Also, they could write to me at info@theblindkitchen.com.
Yeah. Excellent. Thanks so much for coming on. I really enjoyed talking with you and keep up the great work.
Thank you. Thank you for for giving me a place on your platform. I appreciate it, and you keep up the good work too.
Thank you. All